Welcome to Sips and Side Quests, a fantasy-inspired podcast series where we try new drinks and tell old stories. I'm your host, Troy.
And I'm your co-host, Darren. Episode 2 is going to some strange places. It'll leave plenty of room for interpretation. Troy, what did you dream up for us today?
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. Episode 2 of Season 2. We're keeping it light again. We are continuing with the sort of unfiltered sort of situation we have going on. So we've got the sips coming up. We've got some new drinks to share with everybody. And then we've got a solid Tavern Tales prompt to roll right into here. And then actually at the end of the episode, if we have time, I've got a special little side quest segment to do. So before we get into any of it though, Darren, I gotta know, what are you sipping on?
I had a feeling you would ask. So I've been excited about this. I just learned about this a month ago. What would you say your favorite wines are?
Like types of wine or like brands?
Yeah, types of wine.
I generally like white wines. Reds make me a little sleepy. So I think, red tastes may be better, but white is probably my preferred. In that vein, maybe like a Sauvignon Blanc, maybe like a Pinot Grigio.
You might actually like this then. Yes.
Okay.
So, you've got white wines, you've got red wines, you've got rosé, you've got sparkling wines, which, consist of like champagne, you've got, ports. Those are all the wines. Dessert wines. Good call. That's it, right?
I think so. I just remember the dessert wine we had with the beef Wellington you made the one time.
Yeah, that was super mid, too. The Wellington turned out okay, but the wine was super mid. Well, today I am drinking amber wine.
Oh, yeah, dude. I didn't know this existed. You're so right when you said that earlier. Amber wine?
Yeah, I just learned about this a month ago. So specifically what I'm drinking and mispronouncing is a Marani Arcatizitelli.
No, that sounds that sounds like how I hear it said all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the strain of grapes specifically, but it's also, I guess, like the name of the wine. So this is a wine from the country of Georgia, not to be confused with the place north of Florida. That's it's actually in the what is it? It's a Fertile Crescent, the wine cradle of the world. And I'll get into that in a second. But
yeah, those are some words. Fertile.
Yeah, put them all together. So it's a white wine. So why is it an amber wine? It's prepared similar to a red wine, in where the red wine is prepared with the grape skin on, where a white wine you take it off. So what they do is they keep it on for this varietal, and that's how it gets the amber, the orange hue, and so that's really what makes it unique. But it goes deeper. So it's steeped in tradition. The wine is made in a beeswax-lined Qvevri.
Oh,
what's that?
Yeah, what's that?
Which I looked up how to pronounce. That is a large clay vessel which sits in the ground because that is the optimal vessel. Gives you the best temperature to make wine. So everything they do goes in and out of the top of the vessel. They have no other access points. They just do it. They throw everything in there. And so they store the grapes in the vessel to ferment for them, for like several months. So here's the interesting part about amber wines and the country of Georgia. The country of Georgia at this point has the oldest known evidence of winemaking, which dates back to 8,000 BCE, before Common Era.
Gosh.
Yeah, although wine tasted much different back then. So this is the original way that they made wine. Isn't that crazy?
That's really cool. Yeah, this might be like my favorite one that you've had as far as like being interesting. The first thought that comes to mind is I wonder what the ABV on those 8,000 BCE wines were.
Oh yeah, cranking.
They had to be just. I mean, because you think about it, back in the olden days, and I mean the olden days. I mean, stuff was not regulated. People were just doing things, So I have to wonder.
So these days they add a little help to get the grapes to ferment. The thing is, grapes do have some of their own natural yeast, and so they kind of ferment on their own, but it takes longer and it doesn't make as, high in alcohol content. So it may not have been that amped up after all, but yeah.
Am I oldest wine in the world? That's pretty cool. Am I correct in understanding that the actual color of the liquid is like amber, like orange, or what's?
Yeah, it's almost like a beer color, almost like a pale ale, almost like an apple juice type color. But yeah, it's referred to as like an amber wine or an orange wine, but it's effectively a white wine. But it hits on some of the red wine notes. So since the skin is in there, it has more tannins. So it's more dry, it's more astringent. So what you're kind of getting in there, I'm gonna do some sommelier sniffing here. Can you? Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to discern. I don't want to call it like one note, but it's like very acidic and astringent at the end, and it doesn't have like a whole lot of personality. I would liken it maybe to like a toned down Chardonnay with, more astringency at the end. I don't think I've had anything like it. It's very interesting. I would probably rate it though maybe like a 5 out of 10. I would probably never get it again. To be fair, this is just one varietal. I got it because it was, the first one that I saw, and I was kind of in a rush. So it is authentic, but based on ratings I've seen online, it doesn't look like it's the best of the amber wines, but I couldn't pass up the opportunity. Who has drank an amber wine in their life? I mean, come on.
Yeah. It's it's disappointing that the taste doesn't live up to the coolness factor, because so much history there. Wow.
Yeah,
5 out of 10 though. Disappointing.
Yeah, that's not a good one. But that's my bit. Did you have any other questions? I'm super deep into the wine lore, learning about this one.
Yeah, I mean, if there's stuff you haven't shared about it, I mean, let's see what the main thing I'm thinking of is like the olden days. You said there was like proof that this was one of the older ones. Do you know what that proof is? Like, how do we know that this is where it started?
So I'm going to talk a little bit generally because I can't remember the exact words, but the things that you look for with wine, I want to say it's malic acid, and then there's one other element, but they were able to find it on some pottery, and so that's where they traced it back to, is like there's a mountain range. I can't exactly remember what the mountain range is, but it's in modern day Georgia, of the countries, and it's just this little village. They found it. I will say, it may not stand for long because the premier, expertise on this is Patrick McGovern. He published this information in 2017. So we just found out this is the oldest, proof of wine, 2017. He's looking into Turkey, and he speculates that there might be some proof as early as 9,000, 9,500. So it could go even deeper, but that is to be discerned.
Wow. So they found it on pottery. I'm assuming that's the I forget the name already, but you said they used like a big sort of clay pot or something.
It's hard to pronounce. Quarry, I believe it is. Let me get back to my note.
So they basically found one of those with like leftover
there we go.
Orange wine in there. And
Yeah,
they were
exactly.
able to date the clay. Clay dating is interesting. I wonder how they figure that out.
They probably do like half-lives. I know with some older wines, some of the techniques they use, it's really crazy. They go based off like radiation, because if you seal a wine before like certain things happen, it's not going to have these particles in there. Whereas like if it's been bottled after, it's going to be full of it. So they've got some really interesting ways to date these things.
Yeah. That is really cool. That makes me want to like look into things that have a deeper history, drinks that have a deeper history, rather. Because all of mine have been from like 1970, 1980 at the latest. So like you're drinking
run it back.
Yeah, I'll have to look into like some of the oldest. The problem is I like the craft beers, and that's a pretty like recent thing. But there's definitely probably some sort of 8,000 BC some beer related something. Has to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, beer as it was is different than the ale that's drank today. I've seen that mentioned, but yeah, that's my slice of history. Episode 1 talked about how rye whiskey was the birth of American whiskey, and now here we are, even earlier, the birth of winemaking, season of history. But wow. Troy, what is your imbibement of choice?
Yeah, mine is definitely not as interesting today, not to take away from it, but little bit of history, I guess. It's the I mentioned it in season 2, episode 1, the assistant manager, right? I gave it a mention last episode. I feel like why not just get it and review it, because I couldn't give a rating because I wasn't drinking it last time, so I was like, it deserves a rating, right? This is out of Seventh Son Brewing again. They're getting some big representation early in season 2 here, but that's okay. This is an American Golden Ale, and it is, like I said, out of Seventh Son Brewing. It's got an ABV of 4.5%, so pretty light, very sessionable. I'm liking that this season, going with the lower ABVs, because those higher ones, those will get you sometimes, man. So this one is definitely more manageable. Color of this one, it's like a pure gold, as you would expect from the name. It's a little pale, though, interestingly. This American Golden Ale is it's hoppier than a typical ale. It almost resembles a pale ale, just by the amount of hops that are put into it. Flavors on this one are going to include different variations of citrus, also some biscuity taste in this one as well. Not a leather biscuit, though. This is going to be more of like a malty biscuit, which actually does make sense to me.
More tolerable.
More tolerable than, drinking leather. And then it's got, of course, floral notes from the hops. It's a very hoppy beer, like I said. Some people will tell you that it tastes grassy. I think that's just the floral notes. So I do have some facts about it here. The golden ales are also called blonde ales. They're the same thing, which I just learned today. I knew that the two existed. I didn't know that they were just the same thing. So pretty cool. Obviously known for their color. They're very light to medium-bodied drinks, and they're very refreshing. They're pretty notably drank in like the warmer months. It's like a summer beer, kind of. It's kind of like, to me, a lighter version of a pale ale. I have had like session IPAs and things like that. That's a little different than what this is. This is basically just like a pale ale turned down, to me. Because it's got the citrus, and it's a little bitter, but not quite as much. Another fact about golden ales, or blonde ales in general, they came about pretty recently, like I said, in the 80s. These were made as a result of people generally enjoying the lighter lagers that were being mass-produced. Think like Budweiser, Coors, Busch, right? The giants, right? Like Coors Banquet, that's a lager. People were drinking a lot of those, and so these craft breweries, they needed something to compete and try to sway that audience, so they came up with the golden ale, right? Because it's light, it's crisp, it's refreshing, just like these other mass-produced lagers. So whether that was successful or not, I don't think so, because those giants are still around 40, 50 years later and still doing quite well. But that's the history on that. Fun fact about this assistant manager specifically, right? The name, Seventh Son, they got cool naming schemes. That's one thing to know about them. Assistant manager, it refers to the cat that hangs out at their brewery. And so I might post the can art of this one later. It's got like a cat like drinking a beer on it. And that cat is actually the cat that is like the brewery cat. His name's Horatio. Shout out to Horatio over at Seventh Son. He has his own Instagram, which I followed on the Sips and SideQuest Instagram, at Sips and SideQuest Pod. And pretty cool looking cat. I guess he's a cancer survivor too. So some history there, but I didn't know what assistant manager was referring to until I did research on this one, and it's about a cat, which makes me like it even more, because cats can be pretty cool, especially when they hang out at breweries all the time. So.
Yeah, I think I had heard about the cat, actually. I didn't make the connection when you said assistant manager, but I feel like I've heard this story about Seventh Son. That's cool, and it's a good beer. I mean, Seventh Son doesn't make bad beers, though.
No. I mean, like I was saying last time, all the ones I've tried for them are stellar. This one specifically, I do need to give a rating. I'm going to put this one a little bit higher than the one I had last week, which I'm blanking on the name right now. But, it was the Stone Fort last week, the Oat Brown Ale. This is the Assistant Manager American Golden Ale. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. I mean, I might be biased because I love pale ales and things like that, and this is very reminiscent of that, but this is a good beer. This is a great beer. And it might be a little different than other golden ales that you might get from other craft breweries and things like that, but I like it. I love it. Go try it if you're anywhere near Seventh Son. So,
okay. Yeah,
that's all I got. Pretty light on the history on this one. But,
yeah, leather biscuits not doing it for you, but regular biscuits, that's in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, multi biscuits. Love those. Any questions?
I mean, that sounds pretty sessionable, too. That's good.
Yeah, the 4.5%, it makes a difference, man. I mean, if you guys remember last season, I was doing, man, like the 6, 7, 8%ers. It's not good. Darren actually, you sent me a picture the other day. Of you drinking. I don't know if you actually... Yeah. I'm assuming you actually drank it. He sent me a picture of a can. It was some, like, Imperial hazy... It was, like, 9.5% ABV.
Throwback to the first season. It's a Sierra Nevada. It is a big little thing IPA. Hazy Imperial IPA. 9.5%. It was a big dog.
Yeah, how'd that end up going? I don't think we actually... talked much after you sent me that picture. Did it hit?
Yeah, it was good. So I had to drive, right? So I was like, I'm gonna keep it like to 2 drinks minimum, and so I wanted to try the sangria. They had like a red and they had a white sangria, and I probably should have tried the white because it had some elderflower liqueur in there. But I went with the red, and the red was just really kind of mild, wasn't doing anything for me. So I'm like, let's gas it up. Let's do a little launch control, So 9.5%. Yeah, I was feeling good. I definitely had to wind down a little bit after that before I was cool to drive.
I was going to say, you basically, you're like, yeah, I'm just going to have 2 drinks. And one of them is a 9.5% beer. It was a special occasion, though, wasn't it? So
yeah, for sure. So if you had to compare this beer to one other beer that you've had, what would it be? Like, what's the closest comparison? I mean, whether that's like domestic, another craft beer. If you need to think about it, I can keep talking.
The first one that comes to mind is I'm not gonna say another golden ale because that's too easy, but like outside of golden ales, like I said, it's very reminiscent of pale ales. So I've had quite a few pale ales, the Humulus Nimbus being the other one. I don't think it's like that one. I think because it's from the same brewery, they differentiate it a lot. But I will say, Sierra Nevada's pale ale, the classic, I think this is very reminiscent of that. Just like lighter, right? Because Sierra Nevada, I mean, it's not super heavy, but it is, it's like medium, maybe like heavy medium. As far as body goes on the drink, this one's much lighter. It's much just less of everything.
Sure.
But as far as like the color and the sippability, that might be a new word. It's very like that. I don't know. Like I said, it's this one is hoppier than a typical golden ale. I think they do that specifically. I don't know if it's like a differentiator of like, because this is an American golden ale or what's going on. I might have to do extra research on that. But that's my answer. Yeah, just off the top, Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
Okay, there you go.
That's like the big brother of this one, I think.
That's what it sounds like, because I think that was in the first season that you had that, and you said it was like the Godfather, the original, the OG of pale ale started that movement. So yeah. No, that's cool that it ties in. But I mean, that's all I was looking for. I feel like you answered my questions well.
Okay, there we go. All right, well, that's a lot about the sips today. I mean, we got some good stuff today, though. How about we get into Tavern Tales?
Okay.
All right. So, Tavern Tales, of course, we just have a prompt, and we're just going to answer the question and tell a story related to the prompt. So, today's prompt, Darren, you get to go first today. Tell me about a time you had to pretend to know more about something than you actually did. How did it go? Bonus points? Sorry to interrupt. I have bonus points. This part isn't written down. If this was something you pretended in front of other people, did they buy it? Anyway.
Okay, sure. Yeah, we can try and tie that in. I'm gonna tell you 2 mini stories. I couldn't think of like a real meaty story, and so the one, you know, I feel like everyone's probably had this moment. So I had a college class where it was a math class, of course. I got the right answer, but I didn't get a full 100%. I didn't use the method that they wanted me to use. And truth be told, I guessed until I got the right answer, but that's crazy that they called me out on my crap. It was just a mini one, but relevant one at work. So we're going to talk ambiguously. So working for like a client, and the client's like, hey, you know, we made a mistake, like, can you back us up? And you know, I'm like, tell you what, you know, I'll help you out a little bit, but I'm not going to help you out fully. And so he's like, doesn't respond to me after I've already like, hey, you know, I'm going to do this. So I did like maybe 10% of the 100% that he wanted. So like, I'm throwing him a bone, but I can't go the entire way. You know, I'm like, hey, this is policy. We cannot do that much. And so what's he do? He goes to the area manager.
Oh.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because you didn't have to help him at all, right? You didn't have to.
No, I was not obligated to help him at all. There was no reason. And in fact, I probably will never help him again. He's wronged me. He went to the area manager. And so the area manager is like, hey, you know, this client spoke with me and they said you didn't help them at all. And I'm like, okay, so let me get this right. I threw him a bone and he goes to the area manager and he tells her a lie that I didn't help him at all. I'm like, that is crazy.
He went above your head, dude.
Yeah, so the area manager's like, hey, you know, can we do this? And I'm like, nah, sorry, it's policy. And then this is where the prompt kicks in. She goes, can you show me where the policy is written? I'm like, oh no. And so I genuinely, I believe this is policy. This is something like, we just don't do this, you know? So I'm like, all right, here's my plan. I am going to put in so much work to prove them wrong. I'm going to find this policy. I hit up like HR. I went across like multiple people. There's nowhere in writing. It's not and the area manager's calling me out and I'm like, oh, what do I do? Oh man. So I think on it for a day. I'm like, I can't just tell them that, you know, this isn't actually a policy. I can't take the L. So what do? I send them the policy. What I do is I take a policy that's kind of by proxy close and I sell it as if that's what I meant.
Oh my gosh.
So I take the W. I'm like, oh, hey, you know, I don't have the authority to do this, but you can. And they're like, yeah, go ahead and do it. And I still come out as a winner. So I'm pretty sure they believed what I was, because I sent them actual official like HR signed policy documents. I'm like, here it is, you know, wow. Boom. So yeah, a little mini-sode there, but yeah, I don't think I'll ever throw that client a bone ever again. I think if he ever needs anything from me, he better try again.
Yeah, so you said you took the W, so I'm assuming they bought it, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Wow. Well, I gave them an out too, right? I was like, I don't have the authority to do it, but like as an area manager, you do, you know, like just say like, you know, sign on the dotted line, and I'll put it in, I'll make it happen, I'll get them the 100%. They're like, yep, sure. So like, I come out as a winner because the policy does exist, and then also, you know, I get to hold my grudge against the store, but I cannot believe they lied on me. That's crazy. I am never helping you again.
Yeah. That, wow. I'm just processing the story right now. That's, you gotta hate people like that, right? Where it's like, you're going out of your way to do something that you really don't even have to do, and they're still not satisfied with it, so then they try to, like, go around you or over you, and it's like, dude, like, I thought we were being cool here. It's a good way to burn a bridge for them. Anyway.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he reached out to me on something else after, and I'm like, I gave him the bare minimum that I absolutely could. I'm like, we're coloring in the lines today. Like, there's no flexibility. Absolutely not. So, I hope he enjoys that, because the relationship is ruined forever. But
Forever.
you know, that's forever. Listen, I got the Irish blood in me. I got like some Welsh. You wronged me once, you've wronged me forever.
Oh my gosh. Is that an Irish thing, really? I didn't, or what'd you say, Welsh too?
I'm Welsh for sure, but I think the Irish is where it is.
Irish
like
mainly?
They hold grudges forever. And I can say that because, I got that in there. We're talking like Ancestry.com. Yeah, but I've had that. Actually, one of our good friends, I'll just do the first letter. Starts with a C. He what happened was, I wasn't friends with him for like 5 or 6 years. We were the best friends in high school. And what happened, he's like, hey, can I like borrow a copy of Sims 3? My girlfriend wants to play. I'm like, yeah, sure, absolutely. I'm not playing it right now. So Sims 3 over to him. He doesn't give it back to me. Why does he not give it back to me? He sold it. He sold his Xbox 360, and it had the copy of Sims in there. And so I'm like, this is simple. Either buy me a new one or just like reimburse me. Give me like $20. It's like an old thing. None of those happened. So I'm like, all right. Clearly you don't respect me enough in my things. So we weren't friends at that point.
I'm interested that you told this story on the podcast. There are aspects of it that I wasn't aware of. First, I kind of thought he just sold it on purpose. I didn't realize it was like an accident where it was in the console. So that makes his side a little better, but then I'm curious as to why he wouldn't just... It's $20, right? $20 is $20. Why not just... Sorry, bro, here's the money. I feel like that's an easy fix. Did he ever... What happened with that? Was it just... He just forgot, or
it was never reconciliated. And it's not like I gave him a time frame, like an ultimatum, where I'm like, 1 week, or like, we don't talk anymore. It was like... kind of like, hey, let's do this, and like nudging over like multiple times, I would say like, I don't want to put a time frame behind it, but it was definitely like a month or two that I was like, hey, what's going on with this? Like, you don't have to get me a new copy of the game, just do like $20, I'll figure it out. Like, he wasn't strapped for cash or anything, but which is a good lesson, that if you're ever going to lend money to a friend, do not expect to get that back, just because it's going to ruin your relationship if things go south. So, we're still good friends now. We rekindled things, but at that point, he made it clear that he did not respect me and my stuff. So.
Yeah, that's... Man, maybe we got to have him on and have him tell his side of the story, because why would he not just throw $20? That's so easy. But, anyway, no, I have a similar story. Actually, the same amount of money, $20. I had a friend who for a few years there was really deep into the bar scene, I guess we'll say. He loved going out. Not so much anymore. I think he's grown past that, thankfully. But he was pretty bad with it, to where he would blow a lot of his money on bars and buying people drinks and just going and having a good time. So he was, he was just strapped for money all the time because of that. And so he would used to ask people to borrow money, in an excessive amount. And it was never like a lot, I don't think, but it was like a few dollars here, a few dollars there. And so anyway, to get back to the point, I lent him $20 once, right? He was a really good friend of mine. He needed $20 for something. I don't even remember. I lent it to him, and his thing was always like, you lend me this money, then I'll give you like this money plus like $10 extra when I get paid or something. so I was like, all right, whatever. And so I lent him the $20, and then like I just never got it back. And
Sure
I'm not
enough.
I'm not even the type to like ask for it. I mean, $20 is $20. It's not a large amount. It's not something I'm going to stress over, but like it's the principle, right? And so I never got it back. I don't know if I think I maybe asked like once, like, hey, when do you know, just asked about it like maybe once, like a week or two later. And he was just always telling me like, yeah, I'll get it to you for sure. And then he just never did. And then, you know, we stayed friends after that because I was like, you know, I think the friendship's worth more than $20, and I think he just has stuff going on to where he's just not, you know, being a responsible person. So I didn't take it personally. I just took it as this is just who he is right now. And a year later, he asked me to borrow money again. And that was when I was like, yeah, dude, absolutely not. And I didn't like lay into him, but I was like, bro, I lent you $20. Like, I lent you that money last year. You never paid me back. And I know it's just $20, but it's like, it's the principle. I was like, you know, if you ever want me to lend you money or help you out again, like, you know, he's like a brother to me. You know, at that point, I, you know, cared about him a lot, but like, I'm not just going to keep giving you money if you're going to, you know, if you just need the money and like, you can't pay it back, that's one thing, but like, don't tell me you're going to pay it back if you're not. So I didn't give him any money that day. And he never asked me for money again. And, but, unfortunately, I'm not as close of friends with him these days. People just grow apart. Yeah, it's the principle of it, dude. $20 is not that much, but it's like, you know, yeah. I just speaking personally, I would never. If I first of all, I don't like borrowing money from people. I pretty much, out of all the friends I have, the people I'm close with, I don't think I've borrowed money from any of them. Just because I'm like, I just try to figure it out on my own. I don't like to owe people. You know, I don't like to be in that position. But if ever I did have to borrow money from somebody, the thought of paying them back would not leave my mind until I got it done. Just because I hate being in that position.
You have an obligation. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so, you know, people who are on the other side of the spectrum, where they're just like, they borrow the money and then it's just like not a big deal to them to give it back. I'm like, I just can't relate to you at all. But moral of the story, pay back your debts. Be a Lannister.
Yes. But you can be on both sides, right? You know, I've grown as a person. That was me in high school, a little bit after high school. And so, you know, it's a two-way street. If you lend money to someone, they should absolutely feel obligated to pay you back. But also, if you're lending money to someone, you should not expect to get the money back. If you don't feel like you can lend the money out and do without it, then you should not be lending money out in the first place. So, you know, if you give your friend, like, say, $20, $40, don't expect it back. If they pay it back to you, that's a gift.
True. You know what? Let me, I have something similar. Now, let me say this. If you were to, let's say, like, buy a fast food meal for somebody, and they didn't ask you to buy it for them, but you also didn't offer to buy it for them, you kind of just did it, would you expect, like, at least a thank you or any mention of it, or is it just kind of like unspoken sort of thing that just happens?
I mean, I feel like you should at least, you know, say thanks as a gesture. Like, oh, hey, I appreciate you thinking of me. But it shouldn't be more than that at that point. I think that's enough. Like, the verbal acknowledgement.
Gotcha. But is it different if it's like family? Quotations. I won't get too specific, but like,
so depends on the frequency, I think.
It was like a one-time thing.
Okay, yeah, then, you know, like my in-laws have taken me to like some super awesome events, and I should probably say thank you more often. But like, you know, the first few times I was like profusely like, thank you, like this has been, you know, amazing. As opposed to like now it's like we do this more often, but I still try to drop like a thank you every now and then. But like first time, yeah, absolutely, like thank you for blessing me with this.
I mean, I'm not gonna. It was like a $10 fast food meal. I'm not gonna say I was blessing anybody, but
my man's blessing him with the Happy Meal. Let's go.
No, it's just one of those things where it's like we were, we were gonna run through a drive-through, and I didn't know if he wanted to come or not, and then he asked if he could roll through the drive-through with us, and then I just didn't even ask. I it just felt like a hassle to like do the whole multiple orders thing, so I just put it all in one, paid for it. Didn't expect like to get paid back or anything. I was like, I got money, it's fine. But then no verbal acknowledgement. I was like, I don't know if I should feel a type of way about this or not. Ultimately, it's one of those things. It's a small thing. Just let it go. But
I'm gonna plug my coworker here. My coworker that listens to the podcast. So
Hey.
relevant, actually. Yeah. So we went out to Hibachi, did like a little like work thing. There was like a few of us there, and everyone else is like, we're gonna head home. Not me and Buddy, dude. We're not wet blankets. We go to the bar and we have another beer. And my man pays for it without asking. I hit him with like, the thank you. And it's like, okay, cool. Like, I'll get him back next time. I just went to an event with him like 2 weeks ago. And he's like, I got a tab open. Go buy some beers. And I'm like, no, I appreciate it. But like, I got this. What a generous dude.
Shout out to Darren's coworker. Hey.
My man, drinks are on him. But
we need to bring him on our next trip where we go brewery hopping.
Right. Hey, yeah, we're gonna need you to come with us.
Yeah.
No, but you know who you are. I appreciate you. But let's get into your tavern tales. I mean, we've been talking about friends and money. Let's get back to you having to pretend about something that you didn't actually know about.
Yeah. Okay. So, my story's not very meaty either. I think I expected this prompt to go a little deeper than it did. I have a good.
Minisode.
Yeah, I guess so. I have a pretty good answer though. So, just to refresh, the prompt is tell me about a time you had to pretend to know more about something than you actually did. So this is going to be school inspired. This is going to be a story from high school, right? And I was in a course, maybe not a course. It was like a class, but it was like two classes in one. We called it dyad. We had these two classrooms where they would open the wall up, and it was just one big classroom, and there were two teachers in there at the same time, and it was called dyad. Did you ever experience anything like that, Darren?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Nah, okay. So, well, we went to different schools, so it makes sense. But yeah, it was called dyad. It was like the advanced. What was it? It was like one of them was like a social studies teacher, and one of them was an English teacher, and so
you know what? I actually know what you're talking about. Yes.
Okay.
That does it for me. Okay, sure.
Yeah. So we would like the walls like folded and opened up, and it was two classrooms, and it was just we called it dyad. It was just a big group class with two teachers in there. Really fun. Honestly, really glad I experienced it. We did some really cool projects and things in there. But anyway, the story comes from a time where it was some assignment. We were supposed to be discussing with peers about like a specific subject or something. Like, imagine you have like a reading to do, and then they're like, all right, like talks amongst yourselves over this question or this topic or whatever. So in dyad, I happened to sit next to like one of my best friends at the time. And I think we totally both just spaced like the prompt, the assignment. Neither of us had any idea what we were supposed to be talking about. So, we're just kind of sitting there chatting, and we're like, we'll just fake it until, they say time's up, and then they'll call on other people and they'll talk, and then we'll understand what's going on. Not what happened. I don't know if the teacher was trying to like, call us out. I don't know still to this day, but one of the teachers walked up to me and my friend, and we were chatting about random stuff, and he walked up to us and I don't know if he knows that we were talking about random stuff, but he walked up to us two specifically, and he stood there and just listened in. But obviously we saw him approaching, so we had to just start chatting randomly about whatever the topic was. I'm getting a little excited there, sorry. I think we were able to like overhear what the people around us were talking about, so like started to form kind of an idea, and we just winged it, dude. We just started having this debate over this topic that we knew nothing about, just totally making up random feelings, just like completely improvised, just off the cuff. None of it, neither of us even really felt or thought. We were just going with it. And he's like a really intelligent guy too. So luckily we were able to pull this off. But the teacher came over and they listened in, and they liked what we were saying so much that they silenced the entire rest of the dyad. He was like, my friend's name starts with a D, right? He was like, hey, everybody, I want you guys to hear Troy and D. They have some really good points over here. So then we had to like repeat what we were talking about in front of like the whole class. And it was 2 classes in one. So it was maybe like 30 to 40 people. And you know what? We actually ended up pulling it off. I don't know how, but the teacher was genuine. He wasn't like trying to make a fool out of us or anything. We just did so good with the improvisation. But just the fact that like neither of us, like after like everything went back to normal and the teacher walked away and people resumed chatting, we just like were looking at each other like, dude, I can't believe we just pulled that off. To this day, I still don't remember what we were supposed to be talking about. But it was like one of my iconic high school moments, because we faked it so well that they paused the rest of the class to listen in to us faking it.
That's perfect though. Like taking the conversations around you and like kind of mushing them together, like that's what you got to do. That's definitely the only way you save yourself in that situation. So
yeah, I'm wondering if we like maybe even just like I heard like the girl in front of me say something and then I just like repeated what she said about something. I don't know. That would be pretty funny though, because then you would know they'd just be sitting there like they're stealing what we were saying. But yeah, it's a funny story. It's man, what a moment. Can't believe we pulled it off still.
Man, it almost would have been better, like, hypothetically, you would have failed, like, if the entire class was listening, right? So, it almost would have been better if you just failed and the teacher's like, what are you doing? But yeah, you clutched it out. That's like a lottery ticket moment right there.
Yeah, that's an all-time clutch moment, for sure. But, yeah, that's, so that's something I had to pretend. And I didn't even have to pretend to know more. I had to pretend to know, you know, what was going on in the first place. So that's
clutched
that.
It out.
Yes,
that's
sir.
Great.
Yes, sir. But anyway, that's my story. Like I said, not too meaty, not too much to even comment on about it. Just kind of a cool moment. I do have a few talking points relevant to sort of what we were talking about earlier, as far as like what did we say? We were talking about like interpreting things, right?
Yeah, interpretation,
right? That is the word of the day. So I had a time recently, and this is just kind of a cute story I wanted to share. So I'm in a relationship with a woman who is she's half Mexican, right? Her mom is a first-generation immigrant. Why are you laughing?
You're like, yeah, I'm a heterosexual male and happen to be in a relationship. Just
no, it's relevant. It's relevant.
Sure.
It's relevant. She's half Mexican. Her mom is first-generation immigrant, full Mexican, grew up in a village in Mexico, right? They speak a lot of Spanish over there, right? So this is a different kind of interpretation. Anyway, we had a cookout over at her mom's place recently, and her mom had one of her friends over from a different state, and some of the neighbors came over, and they were all just speaking Spanish the entire time. Now, I don't take that as any kind of insult or any kind of exclusion or anything, but it's definitely interesting how you can still have a good time around people who are speaking a language you don't understand, right? I genuinely had a good time, and I didn't even drink that night, so it's not, I didn't have a good time because of like the alcohol or anything. I just had a good time because it was just like the vibes, right? The energy. Didn't understand, like I speak a little Spanish, but not enough to keep up. But still, they're chatting, they're laughing. There's like Spanish music going on. We cooked out.
Spanish music is so good. Genuinely.
It's just vibes, dude. Yeah, it's vibes. I think we made some, they did like carne asada tacos. It was just a good time. and I can't remember like a single specific conversation that was had, really. I brought my Kindle. I was just doing some reading because like I wasn't expected.
Man,
I mean,
having the time of his life reading a book.
yeah. It was fun though, dude. Like, obviously I was there, with my partner who, I talked to her a little bit, but for the most part, the thing is that, a lot of the guests there, they kind of like only spoke Spanish, right? So it's not even like it was, purposely trying to leave me out or anything. But, just the energy. It's cool how you can just sort of pick up on energy and vibes without even really understanding it. You know what I mean? So that's just a cute little sentiment I had recently. Have you ever been any... I know you've done a lot of international traveling. You ever been in any sort of similar situations where you maybe didn't understand like the language fully or something, but it was still like super cool?
Yeah, I mean, so in my experience, like everywhere I've traveled, as long as you make an attempt to speak the language of the locale, the country that you're at, usually they're super cool with it, and it's like they understand what you're there for, and like you can like gesture if you need to. I mean, I've been in Italy, and I've had some like real great interactions with like a single word, which is crazy. They say like 1 or 2 words in Italy. You say ciao, you say prego. Those are the 2 words. We studied so many more words. I was ready for like full conversations, and that's it. Like, excuse me, prego. You're welcome, prego. Ciao. Hi, hello. It's literally just prego. I cannot make this up.
Wait. So what's prego mean?
That's it. It's like excuse me, pardon me kind of thing. But they just use prego for everything. So I guess the experience that came out of that, we were staying in Naples, Italy, and we went to this like local pizzeria. Like there was no tourists, not a single one. Every single person there was Italian. And they didn't even speak like a lick of English, and we didn't speak clearly enough Italian to get there. But the pizza that I got, wow, I could not believe it. I don't know if I'll have a better pizza in my life. They were like so hospitable and everything too, and it was just like they know that we're there for the food. Like we're family.
That was like my very first thought. I'm such a food guy. I don't know. I was literally gonna ask, like, did you have pizza over there? I've heard it's like a lot different than like American pizza these days. Is that true?
Yeah, it can be. I think it's a little bit less like sugary. It definitely feels better. It's kind of weird. Like sometimes you'll get a pizza and you feel bogged down, but the pizza over there is very fresh, a little bit more light. Look up right now. It's called pizza fritta. That's pizza fritta, Fritta. It basically looks like a calzone. It blows calzones out of the water. Like, the best calzone you've ever had is the worst pizza fritta that I've ever had. It is insanely good. So it's like gooey cheese with like some sausage in there. But the way that they do it is just immaculate. It's fried, of course.
This looks so flaky, dude. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Because calzones are thick, doughy. This looks like almost like a pastry or something. Like an empanada, kind of, but it's pizza.
Yeah, much more like light, but that was like the single best thing. If I go back to Naples, I get that every time. That's good. But
this looks amazing.
Let me hijack here my own interpretation.
Yeah.
So I went to a wedding. We're not going to talk about the time frame, but interpretation. I'm outside, I'm drinking, open bar, as a good wedding does. And so some people, they understand that mission more literally than others. And so this guy, I hear him behind me. I'm not part of the conversation. He goes, $10 and I'll go catch that deer over there. Like, there's no way. Yes, yes, absolutely.
Hold on. First of all, $10 is to catch it. That's like a low price. I hope you jumped on that.
I only had $5. I should have been like, you take Venmo, but someone else in that conversation ponies up. He's like, I'll give you 30. And so I thought nothing of it, right? I had a good time at the wedding. It was great. We do the brunch the next day, and someone, I'm like hanging out like next to the bride, and they show up and they're like, yeah, so he just started running after this deer. They have a video of this man in a tuxedo chasing down a deer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't think he actually got the money either. They're like, yeah, he did a bunch of shots early. Usually, like, he does like a beer or two and he's done. So, how this ties into interpretation, alcohol can really skew your perception of things, and your interpretation becomes a little bit more whimsical, So that's my tie-in, but I couldn't pass up that story. That's crazy to watch that man chasing after a deer. I'm going to add a cherry onto this.
Yeah.
This man is a lawyer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. Too
good.
You'll have to maybe show me the video if you can get your hands on it.
I don't have the video. I'm sure I could get it, but that's hilarious.
That's it's
I
interesting.
could not believe it.
So did he? I'm assuming he didn't actually catch this deer, right? That's
absolutely not. The deer was like, "What are you doing here?" Bolted. It's just to watch a grown man chase after a deer and then fall down. Like, it's somewhere between hilarious and a little sad, if we're being honest.
Yeah. Impaired judgment. I don't know. That seems like a fun thing to try. I guess you guys are lucky there were no cows around. He seems like the type to try and tip them over or something like that, just messing with the animals that are around.
It gets better. They're like, it's a good thing there wasn't any open flames, because he's got this habit where he spits liquor into open flames, and it's like,
oh my gosh.
I wish I could make this up. I could not write this. I am not creative enough to come up with this. What an individual.
What is it with lawyers and just acting crazy outside of their careers? That's so interesting.
Good for them. I'm jealous.
Oh man.
But
that's cool.
You mentioned earlier a side quest? What's the side quest?
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you asked. I was literally just about to transition into it. So here we are. This seems like the perfect time for it. Yeah, so we've had some cool anecdotes here. Let's get into today's side quest. So this is going to be some dream interpretation. Darren, if you remember last episode, I mentioned that I had a dream about you specifically, right? So
who doesn't?
So basically, you are going to be taking on the role of kind of like, not a fortune teller, but similar, right? I actually did more research than you think on this. It's called a diviner, right? Somebody who does these sort of readings and things like that. So, to set the scene, let's imagine we're in the tavern. Maybe, there's like a stall that's been set up in the corner of the room. There's like some sort of free divine readings going on. They're trying to promote their small business, right? We love small businesses. So you would be the person who is dressed in all of this like different colored garb, and maybe you have like some sort of headdress on, maybe some like cosmic themed decorations, like some of, those.
I'm gonna get into character.
Yeah, no voices expected, but like a voice would be cool. Do you remember? Did you ever have those like little stick-on like stars when you were a kid that you put on the ceiling and they were like glow in the dark? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like multiple packs.
So let's imagine that this diviner like decorated the corner of the tavern with these stars just to kind of like, But anyway, they're giving free dream interpretations as part of their little package. I guess they're promoting themselves. I don't know.
Maybe
they
a
have
crystal ball. Like my hands are on either side of it. What brings you over to my corner?
Yeah, exactly. So maybe I don't know if they have some kind of deal with like a wizard or something, shout out to the tavern owner. But anyway, that's what we're going to be doing. You're going to be taking on the role of the diviner. I'm going to be telling you my dreams, and you just give me like some readings to the different aspects. So I'm going to go slow. I'm going to focus on specific aspects here, and you just tell me what you think they mean. And you can get as crazy as you want with them. They don't have to be based in reality. You can make whatever kind of assumptions about my life that you want. Any assumptions about the future, anything. Just whatever comes to mind. This is totally improvised. So
let's start with a warm-up then.
Okay.
Show me your palm. Let me see your palm. I warm up with palm readings.
Okay, so here we are. Here's my hand. I'll pretend. Here's my hand.
Yeah.
What's it looking like?
Yes. Okay, I grab your hand and yes, I see this line. Do you see this line going across your hand?
Yeah.
You know what that means? That means
no.
that the government is going to cancel Social Security before you're old enough to retire.
Oh, that's probably a true one, unfortunately.
I'm very good at what I do. But what else ails you? Now that I'm warmed up, I'm ready.
Okay, let's get into these dreams. We'll start off with the one about. Well, I guess it's not about you anymore, sir. It's about my friend Darren. He's over there at the tavern table watching us.
Yeah, he's very handsome.
Okay.
Incredibly humble.
I have kind
smart.
of bizarre dreams. So let's get into it. So this one is about you. The first thing I remember from this dream, and this is the first aspect that I want you to interpret. I was driving down the highway, and this is a certain circular highway that surrounds the city. I'm sure you know which one I'm talking about.
What the fuck's a car?
I was
Go on.
Oh, yeah. Alternate universe here. No, I was driving down the highway, and you know how some parts of the highway there's like a median, like a grassy median, where it's just grass, basically.
This is a dream?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Okay, yeah, the grassy median, in between. Yeah.
Yeah, the grassy median in between the highway. So I'm driving on the highway, and placed into the grassy median is a big sign. It's like a street sign, right? So it's like one of the ones. It's like two poles, like two metal poles, and it extends upward. And then there's the green actual sign on it. Are you visualizing correctly?
I can see clearly.
Okay, so the weird thing about this is it's about 50 feet in the air, so it's really high up, and it's not just like a normal rectangle, it's like an arrow, and it's pointing, I don't remember, behind me or something. And it says, Darren, I'm talking to you now. It says your full name on the sign, and then it says something like, lives 90 kilometers this way. So it was like a sign. So it was like a sign pointing to the location that you lived at, with your full name on it. So that's the first little aspect of the dream. Why don't you tell me what you think? What do you glean from me dreaming about that?
Sure. That's a simple one. I happen to have omnipotence, so I understand what Darren understands. And so 90 miles? That's reminiscent of a Buc-ee's sign. And so, the conversation with which happened on the way to Buc-ee's was something that was living in your mind, and it was floating because in your dreamscape you couldn't quite understand that billboards do have structure.
Wow, you're so right about.
And it
the
says
Buc-ee's
go
sign.
back. It says go back, reapproach this. You need to. This is not finished.
What do you think the significance of it, pointing to where you live is? Is it telling me maybe that I need to go visit you or something? But this was a sign that everybody could see, right? But I did dream it.
Yeah, but this is so to you, I mean, I think it's with the interaction, and it's I don't think it's to go back to me. It's just you need to revisit this, a little bit more broad.
That's actually more spot on than I expected.
Yeah, I got this, dude.
Especially wow. Okay. Wow, holy schmolies. Okay, so that was the
Don't
first
forget,
aspect.
you could leave a tip after my services.
Okay, maybe we'll see. So that was the first aspect. Dreams, they kind of jump around. It's not like one connected thing. So that was the first thing I remember. The second thing I remember, apparently in the dream, the answer to why the sign was there was it was some sort of honor. They were honoring you. The city was honoring you because you were a real. You had just won a tournament. It was some sort of word game, like a Scrabble or like a Words with Friends. And the next thing I remember from the dream is you at this tournament, winning this tournament. You're like a tournament champion of some word game, and it was in person. The tables were really big, and the letters were really big, and you won the entire thing. So what do you think that means?
That is crazy. First of all, thank you for sharing. This is just such a vivid dream. I always have like vague memories of mine. No. I mean, I don't want to be brazen, but I mean, based on the dream contextually, that almost sounds like, in that conversation that I like came out on top. That's my understanding of what you're saying.
Oh no! How could you say that?
I didn't want to be so brazen, right? But
no, it's okay.
It's definitely not how I feel like it actually happened, but I'm just reading the dream. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
Okay. That's my interpretation. Yeah, and it's like, okay, well, this needs to be revisited, and clearly, again, being brazen, that I came out on top.
Okay. It's interesting too, because during our conversation on the car ride, not to get too, there's going to be random listeners to this who have no idea what we're talking about, but just for us, part of it was about wording, like specific words of things. So
I do word goodly.
Yeah, so that was my interpretation of that.
Okay.
Wow, sure. It's actually tying. You know what? Talking about this out loud, this is actually tying in much more than I thought it did. I thought this was just some random bizarre dream, but there we go. We're about to get really off the rails with it though. So after the word game championship that you won, now we jump to like some like abandoned shack, and your body is laying in there. Now, I guess your reward for winning the word game championship was not only to get a sign commemorating it and telling people where you live. They're just so proud. They want everybody to know where you live. But we're getting a little sci-fi here. Your reward for winning is that you got to transfer your consciousness into a new body. so
okay, that one kind of makes sense contextually. Actually, I get that.
I'm intrigued to hear how you interpret it. But anyway, so like we jump to like a shack. Your old body is just laying in there, like discarded. I'm with people that I know in real life, but I can't. They're not relevant to like our friendship, and I can't even remember who they were. But then I just remember walking out of the shack and meeting you, and you're in this new body. And it's kind of like you're like the same you, but it's just like you're like younger or something. Like it's just a new. It's not even like you still look like you, but it's just like a new body. And I remember you're like lifting up your shirt, and we're all just like marveling at this new body.
That just sounds like my D&D character.
Yeah, and that's like the last moment of the dream. So.
Okay, so that's the last moment. That's an important detail, because I was like, it can go one of two ways, but if that's the end...
That's the end, yeah.
Okay, sure. So that, to me, a new body and then a shack, I think those are unrelated in the way that... So the shack, we stopped at another place on the way back, which I think we can say. I think that's okay. we stopped at Big Bone Lick Park.
Big Bone Lick!
It's the birthplace of American vertebrate paleontology. Yeah, that's the only reason we stopped.
Something to do with fossils, for sure.
Yeah, they had bison. Super cool. So that to me is the shack. So okay. In the time frame, which that little place was a shack, and then the new body is like, we've had this conversation, we've hit the revelation. So like I'm a changed person. So now I'm into this new body. You know what I mean? And then that's the tie-in. Like,
so it's like my perception of you has changed.
Yeah, so you're like, oh, okay, I saw you as this, and now it's like, oh, wow, like, oh, he gets it, he's there, and then the shack just coincides because, the Big Bone Lick.
Dude, I straight up did not expect this level of deepness from the interpretation, but it actually makes sense. It's actually making sense to me.
Wait, like, did this do it for you? I thought you already had an idea on what the interpretation was. Oh, I'm actually telling you.
No, I didn't want to do the interpretation myself. I wanted you to do it.
Oh,
right? But
okay.
I had like a general idea of why I had the dream, but I didn't like go deeper. I was like, I'm not going to think about it too much because I want Darren to do it because it'd be funny for the bit. But wow, it's actually way more based in reality than I expected. You might have a future as a diviner here. That was really good. You should open a stall in the tavern yourself.
I accept Venmo and PayPal for the tip. No, that I think, to be fair, I mean, I have the context on that, so I can kind of get away with like knowing how it plays out, but like also living through the situation. I think I can see the other side of it. But the Buc-ee's sign in your dream is crazy.
I didn't even make that correlation, but it makes sense. Especially with it being like so far away. It wasn't actually, it was like 90 kilometers, not miles, which is weird, but still a sizable distance.
Well, because that was right around the time, you remember? Because I was talking like, how did we go from like 110 to like 100 miles? So it was right around that time. And then we rolled into the conversation. So yeah, that lines up perfectly.
Yeah. Wow. My mind is blown. I'm gonna go to sleep tonight thinking about this and have another dream.
You have another dream. Maybe. Stay tuned for episode 3 where we do more divine intervention.
No, that was good. That was great. I did have some other dreams, but I don't think they live up to that one at all. I will real quick. I wanted to get your opinion on this. I have had a recurring dream throughout my life. And it has been something I had when I was young, think like 12, 13, and I've had it probably 4 or 5 times as recent as a few years ago. It's always the same dream, right? I'm running through an office building in New York City, and through the windows I can see King Kong destroying the city far away. That's all the information I have. Any guesses as to like why I've had this dream so many times throughout my life?
I would have to like try and tie it to like if there was anything that happened that day or that week that like led up to the dream, you know? Yeah. Because if you're having it, then maybe it's a similar event that's triggering it, or like a same like energy kind of thing.
Yeah.
That would be my initial thought, is like try to like match them up.
Okay. I'll have to think on it, and maybe we can revisit in a future episode. But
you should get like a dream journal, like genuinely.
Yeah, no, yeah, I don't mind sharing. I'm on a medication that a known side effect is very vivid, bizarre dreams. So a dream journal, I think, might be perfect for me, because I have some. I mean, even today I took a nap and I had just a crazy one. So, but maybe in the future we'll do more dream stuff, Darren. I think you're actually way better at it than I expected. I mean, I know you have a lot of the context, but those are some connections I might not have made myself.
The Buc-ee's sign. I can't get over that. There is with 100% accuracy. I cannot.
It has to be. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that brings us to the end of the episode. Unfortunately, time flew. Time is flying with these off the rails episodes. Frankly, what did we get into today? Though we talked about pretending to know things. What else? We went off the rails.
The birthplace of wine.
Yeah, the birthplace of wine. Apparently in Georgia. Not the state, the country.
That's right.
8,000 BC. I need to find some beer that's old to...
I think they have some old... I don't want to say like Middle Eastern. I want to say like Iran has some old beer. I don't know if they still make it, but they were like one of the places that kind of got into it originally. Or you could look more like Northern Europe. But yeah, no, that would be something cool. Like dig into the roots.
Yeah, maybe I'll try to find something old for next episode. No promises, but I'll see what I can do. So we talked about we were on Sips for quite a while. Talked about drinks. Talked about pretending to know things. Talked about burning bridges. You know, I don't know why that client of yours would do that, but they're screwed for life. What else did we talk? We went off the rails for. What else did we talk about today, Darren?
Yeah, so there was, the money bit in there. Money and friends don't mix. You as a person need to, and not you, Troy, but like the listener, you, me in general, you got to be respectful of friends. If they want to borrow money and you have discretionary income and you feel okay with that, don't ever expect the money back. You are giving them this as a gift, and if you're that friend that's getting the money, you got to try and get that money back to them. You want to give it with interest? Sure. But if you just want to give them back their same money, I mean, that alone should feel good. So there's two sides to it, That's a big one.
Yeah. If you take away anything from this episode, take away that. That's a good one. So, yeah, we talked about a lot of different things today, all pretty relevant, good things, I think. But yeah, overall good episode in my opinion. I think Darren, maybe we get out of here. What do you say?
Yeah, and the best way to get out of here would be subscribing to our podcast and following us on socials at Sips and SideQuest. If you're on Instagram, at Sips and SideQuest Pod. Still mad that someone took that, but we'll get there. So that'll notify you when our next release lands, and you can find out a little bit more. Troy talked about dropping his can art, so
yeah,
that'll be cool.
Might do that.
Yeah. Leave us a comment. Let us know how we're doing. If we're doing awful, we don't want to hear that. Just tell us positive things. We really need the validation.
Yeah. No negative comments.
Exactly.
We'll just delete it. I don't care.
We are really soft. You can't do that. It's gonna break us. But drop a like for some easy experience points, and check it out though. Episode 3. I'm gonna tell you the theme right now. I haven't even discussed with Troy. We're gonna talk about self-care. Episode 3.
Oh, I'm in. I love self-care.
Self-care, but you're gonna have to tune in for that. We're dropping episodes bi-weekly every Thursday.
Every other Thursday.
Bi-weekly Thursdays.
Yeah, that means every other. I just want to make sure they know.
Sure. Yeah. No. Show up on a Thursday, and if there's no episode, wait a week. But this has been Darren,
and this has been Troy. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you. Oh my gosh. Sorry, guys. We'll see you right back here next time for yet another adventure. Okay. That's all. Get out of here.
See you.